You are developing a Windows Presentation Foundation (WPF) application. You need to use XAMPP to create a custom control that contains 2 button controls. From which base class should you inherit? Option A. Framework element. Option B. UI element. Option C. User control. Option D. Button. The correct answer is option C. You are developing a Windows Presentation Foundation (WPF) application. An event triggers a workflow such that a parent control executes the event handlers before the child controls. You need to ensure that if a parent controls event handler encounters an error, the subsequent handlers are not called. What should you do? Option A. Use handlers for a tunneling routed event and mark the event as handled in the case of a problem. Option B. Use handlers for a tunneling routed event and mark the event as handled in the finally portion of a try-catch finally code block. Option C. Use handlers for a bubbling routed event and mark the event as handled in the case of a problem. Option D. Use handlers for a bubbling routed event and set the handled property of the routed event args object to true in the catch portion of a try-catch finally code block. The correct answer is option D. You are developing a Windows Presentation Foundation (WPF) application. The application contains the following code and the code behind file for an application window. Line numbers are included for reference only. Stack panel stack equals new stack panel, content equals stack, for, int I equals, I++. Option A. Button btn equals new button. Option B. btn.name equals, char, A+I, to string. Option C. btn.content equals btn.name plus says click me. 08 tome 9. You need to ensure that all of the button controls that are defined in this code segment appear in the application window. Which code segment should you insert at line 08? Option A. stack.children.add_btn. Option B. stack.children.insert I+1, btn. Option C. Content equals btn. Option D. Content equals new button, name equals, A'+I, to string content equals, I+ says click me, to string. The correct answer is option A. You use Microsoft.NET Framework to create the Windows Presentation Foundation (WPF) application. You create a button control for the application. You need to ensure that the application meets the following requirements. When the mouse pointer is over the button control, the background color of the button is set to red and the button control appears bigger. When the mouse pointer is not over the button control, the button returns to its original state. What should you do? Option A. Create a template. Declare a visual state element in the template. Option B. Create a storyboard animation. Add an event trigger class to the button control that begins the storyboard animation. Option C. Create a scale transform class. Bind the scalex and scaly properties of the button control to the background property by using a custom value converter. Option D. Add a method named changeAppearance in the code behind file. Subscribe the changeAppearance method to the mouse enter event of the button control. The correct answer is option A.